Welcome back to the Renegade Report. I'm your host, Francis Mayer, and today we have a very special guest and a special show. We're wrapping up our look at the 2015 Renegade football season. It was one full of challenges, and it might not have been more of a challenge for anybody but you, Tarek Yagi. This is your last year of eligibility as a Renegade.
Yep. It's sad to move on. A lot of tradition here. So.
Yeah, there is. And you look like you were starting a tradition or continuing a tradition last season. You had an excellent freshman campaign. One of the highlights for me personally, and not just because I got to do play-by-play for the game because the voice of the Renegades, Vance Palm, was gone, but the Moorpark game, Tarek, where you were throwing footballs all over the field and Vickers was pulling them down. I think 5 touchdowns he had in that game.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
We had enough football. We played 3 games that day essentially. There was 4 games worth of action there. But Tarek, did you have any reason to believe that this season was going to be different than last year?
No, not at all. I mean, coming back, there's guys I knew on the team that, I absolutely loved hanging out with. Curtis, Dominic Frash, guys that, I looked up to and, I had fun with, and we worked hard together. And so
and they make plays.
Yeah, they do, and I love, playing with those guys. And, I think the most important thing is I want to see those guys move on. So coming back, I wanted to have a really good season so I could see those guys move to the next level.
Now, in the beginning, we knew we had a little bit of work cut out for us because the schedule was completely unkind. And then I stop and I say, we're Bakersfield. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Renegade football should be prepared for anyone. If the Cowboys show up in week 3, we should be ready to play them. But it was tough.
Yeah, it definitely was. But I think it's smart to have those teams scheduled that early, especially when they're non-conference games. It prepares us a lot for conference. And, you saw we played those 3 games, and you could see those teams were a whole different level than what we played in our conference. And we were prepared. We struggled finishing games.
And what does that mean to the layman? Because Dark football is an incredibly complex game, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
It definitely is.
And when you watch it on television, I know you've watched a lot of television. You're wearing a Packers sweatshirt today. Really? You're a Packers fan?
I like watching the Packers. I'm actually more of a Browns fan, but I do like watching the Packers.
Yeah, I didn't associate you with the Packers as a human being.
Yeah. Sadly, I'm a Browns fan, but, I like
that's
the Packers
okay.
too.
That's okay. I think, we're talking about finding you a new quarterbacking job. It's not working out with Mansell. We need to get you on the horn with them. The Flying J guy seems willing to take risks. So going back to this season and when things got tough, you had some teammates that you really wanted to stick it out for, but we played 3 games against teams who had a pass rush that exposed kind of a fatal flaw for this Renegade team in 2015, and that is we had one returner in Jared Dorton, and he's a good offensive lineman, but there was some youth on there. How important is the teamwork, the chain gang-like mentality that happens on an offensive line? How key is it for them to know each other?
If you look at any team that is successful, it's their offensive line and their defensive line are usually very good. That's where games are won, is in the trenches. I completely agree with that, So if you have an offensive line that is inexperienced, they're young, they don't, communicate well with each other, you're going to have struggles and you're going to have pains, big growing pains. You just hope that by the middle of the season, you've come along far enough that guys start to get it. And for some reason this year is one of those deals where we never really clicked and we never got going.
And when you look at an offensive line, Tarek, listen, if you and I get into the elevator after the show, I'm going to feel like you're too close to me, okay? But you have your hand right there up against the center, okay? The center weighs, close to 300 pounds, and next to him, by a matter of inches, are other dudes that weigh in the mid-200s. Right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of humanity in a small space. So right when the ball is snapped to you, your hand is right up against his crotch, right?
Yep.
And then you step back, and these guys need to step without stepping on each other or tripping over each other and form a guard around you, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what an offensive line does, right?
Yep.
That seems like quite a dance to pull off.
Yeah, and very especially when we have guys that, we had a guy that moved over, I think it was game 4 or game 3, Justin James. Very good guy, very good offensive player for us. But the first game, nobody had any chemistry with him. So he was kind of, he's out there kind of lost on some plays. And it's kind of hard, Even when I was in the huddle with him, I don't know him very well because he's been playing defense all year, and it's you kind of got to get used to him. And by the end of the year, I've created a bond with him. But right then and there,
is everybody looking at you in the huddle?
yeah, that's part of being a quarterback. You got to be a guy that's out there. You're ready to be a commander. You're ready to lead your team into battle. So when you're in that huddle, you got to take complete control of what's going on. And if you're a quarterback that's in there and you're shaking and you're scared, they're not going to respond well to you. So you got to be confident in there. Even if you get hit, no matter what happens, you throw an interception, you got to come back ready to go.
Well, let's talk about that because you're no stranger to either.
Yep.
What happens? What do you say after you get rocked? Like, do you pop right up? What's your reaction?
Yeah, you get back up sometimes. They hurt. You want to lay there, And I joke with the guys. I joke with Jared all the time because I'll get hit and he'll be there just yanking me up, getting me off the ground. I'll be like, hey, next time just let me lay there a little bit, Let me just collect my thoughts. So it's kind of if you ever watch the movie Replacements, when he's down on the ground, he's just let me collect my thoughts. So you kind of feel like that sometimes, but ultimately it's a game of football. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna get pounded. I want to get back up there. I want to get the next step because I want to get the better of the dude that got me.
Yeah.
If you get me once, I'm gonna get you the next time. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah. Curtis McGregor has described your quarterbacking style as give him time and he's going to pick you apart.
Yeah, Curtis and I are very good friends, and I we talk every day about what's going on with recruiting and everything. And Curtis he's been a mentor to me in the fact that he's taught me to look at it as not that hey somebody's better than you, that to look at it, hey I'm going to be better than this dude in the long run. I'm going to work this guy. I'm going to work harder than him. And Curtis has been somebody that I've been able to relate with and connect with since I've been here in Bakersfield, and I definitely appreciate the relationship we've built.
And quarterbacking is a strange business. It's such a strange business because you got a guy like Matt Castle, who I don't know if he took any snaps at USC. No, he didn't, did he? And then what happened?
Yeah, and then he plays in the NFL, and I think that comes down to a guy that just wants it more in the end.
But that dude went to practice. I'm talking about practice, Allen Iverson. 4 years.
4 years and never played, and that's frustrating, And for a guy to do that, it just shows you how much he wants to be successful at the game of football. So that's a lot of credit to him.
Yeah, I mean the guy made it to the high. I can't remember. Was he on the Patriots roster when they won a Super Bowl? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember. He played that 1 year when Tom Brady was hurt, and then he had some good years for the Chiefs, some bad, some good.
Yeah, but he was an NFL quarterback.
I know it's hard to do, and I think that's one thing is if you look at any level of football, especially when you have a scholarship or you're getting paid to play, is some guys kind of fall into this. Okay, I got money, I can relax. I've made it to the NFL, but some other guys like Matt Castle, they're like, hey, I didn't get to play in college, but I want to play. And so he goes to the NFL, and he just works his tail off. And
he's hungry.
Yeah, he wants to win. So.
Yeah, and Kurt Warner's a good example of that, a guy that never gave up on the game. And you're a guy that does not want to give up on the game. We're going to go back let's go back to Waterton for a minute. You were a junior varsity quarterback. You came up to varsity as a junior, is that right?
Sophomore year, I played a little bit at the end, and then I started my junior year. Yes.
Okay. And were you the great next coming? Did they expect a lot?
They didn't. I mean, I didn't expect it. My junior year was actually the first game we played at Milwaukee Pius, and I threw for 300 yards, and I didn't realize it. I came onto the bus after the game, and one of my teammates was like, "Hey, you just threw for 300 and something yards," and I'm like, "No, I didn't. Like, you're crazy." Like, I didn't expect it for myself, and kind of from that moment moving on, I think as a team we realized, hey, we got something special going on here, and I thought that I could play at the next level, so that's when I started to take football totally serious.
Okay. And talk about the junior season. You opened some eyes there, though.
Yeah, we had a very good junior season, and it was just Watertown High School, the area that I grew up in. It was a great community, and I was surrounded by some unbelievable friends. I have 10 guys that I can call on a daily basis and call them, they're my best friend. Any problem I have, I can call them and they'll help me out. So every night I'm going to battle with them on a Friday night. You don't want to lose. We didn't want to lose. We were just hungry. We wanted to win after watching people above us lose consistently, only winning one game a year. You want to win games.
And the mascot is?
A gosling, baby geese. So you gotta be prideful to wear that on your chest.
You do. Yeah. Yes, that's not exactly a fear-inspiring mascot, but you guys came to inspire some fear.
Yes, definitely. I mean, by our senior season, people were, they were afraid to go against us because we had athletes on the edge that were going to catch the ball and, break off 80-yard routes, and we had something special going on there. That's for sure.
But you were still a bit of a gunslinger, and we're going to talk about the evolution of Tarek Yagi into the quarterback as a young man next. When we come back with a little bit more of a special edition to the Renegade Report, we're talking to quarterback Tarek Yagi about how it all turned out. It's been quite a ride for him here in California, and he will be leaving for Wisconsin actually any minute now. So we'll be right back with more on the Renegade Report.